everyone, we're here to plan in my happy planner, and it is for the week of July 15th to July 21st. And I'm going to make sure we're not too zoomed in there, and it's a new setup, so please bear with me. And I'm using this kit from Coffee Brain Plans, and it's the beach kit. Here are your full boxes. Just do a flip through. There we are. I think what I'll do is I will start with the date covers. And I do apologize if you happen to hear a crow in the background. It seems to be something to do with nature and me this week. So this week has been pretty eventful. Sorry about that. My camera cut out and I caught it just in time. So this week has been eventful. There, I finally said it right. Starting last Monday, I was having a pretty good day, and then out of nowhere, I started getting really bad arm and back pain, and I didn't know what was causing it. So I just let it be for a little bit. And then I started noticing a squeezing tightness in my chest, and I thought, okay, this is an asthma attack. So I took my inhaler, waited a little bit, nothing changed. So I took my inhaler a few more times, still nothing had changed, other than now the pain was in my jaw, and it was getting worse, and I was getting nervous. So I called my mom, who was able to come and get me, and we made the call and we decided, okay, we're gonna go to the hospital. And while I was in the hospital waiting, which took way too long for someone having chest pains and not able to breathe, and there was one point where I seriously thought that I was going to pass out. Ooh, I'm sorry, I hit the camera. Let's see. So I'm pulling in these glitter headers as well, because I think they go with the kit pretty well. And these are something you can buy separately in the shop. So anyway, here I am, not feeling my best, and it really wasn't the greatest situation. A man came in and we overheard that he had shingles, and I was like, oh my god, I've had chickenpox. Is he in the contagious stage? Luckily he stayed far enough away, and so far no signs of it. And there was also a group of people in there with so many children, children that clearly were not sick, because they were jumping off of the walls and having a great old time turning the waiting room into their own personal soccer field. And it didn't help that other patients there, one poor man was having a really bad migraine, and just these people had no care in the world, no sense of understanding that you're in an emergency room. Like, this is where people come when they have no other choice. Sorry, I live on the main street, so you can hear a lot of everything. Eventually, one of the moms started taking the kids out and taking them to lunch, so they were gone, and in the long run things got dealt with. After a while, I started feeling relief. I was sweating, and I felt so scared when it wouldn't stop, and I mean, it would not let up at all. But thankfully, after some blood work and finally seeing a doctor, who pretty much came in and gave me the, yeah, well, it's your gallbladder. And I was like, oh, okay, so what do we do for that? Because I had never experienced anything like that before. and he really wasn't that helpful. So that was extremely frustrating. And I let it go. I have an ultrasound coming up next week, not this week. So we'll see what's going on with it. I am feeling better. Oh, I just realized there's no bottom washi. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna pause and I will be right back. Okay, so I grabbed a few washies, and yes, I still have that there. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna use yet, but I'll figure that out as we go. So, I am feeling better, other than my asthma has been quite questionable since the events. And I'm wondering if I should just put pictures straight across, keep it nice and clean. I think so for this week, that's what I'll do. So I'll go ahead and put down this today header. So Monday was a long day, and I felt like it was never gonna end. Thankfully, I was able to get some sleep, but the next day was just excruciating. Like, the pain in my body was unbelievable. It felt like somebody literally had squeezed my chest as tight as they could. I couldn't move. I couldn't, like, without any pain. I tried to have a shower to, like, lessen the pain, and that didn't work. And I tried to take Robaxacet to see if I can loosen the muscles up, and that didn't work. But it took time and rest, and I hate sleeping in the day. It drives me mental. Used to love to nap, don't love it anymore. It throws off my whole entire healthy living, and I don't like it because I really hate having a bad sleep schedule. So I'm doing better. I still keep having these pains, and as described, I'm told they're part of the gallbladder. I wonder if these are the same thickness. Yeah, they are. Okay, so we'll do that. So that was the first half of my week. Then, let's see. Later on in the week, I was having a really bad go with insomnia, and I couldn't sleep, and I thought, oh my god, this week is just not letting up. And fortunately for me, but not fortunately for her, my sister was awake as well, and we had been playing with the thought of maybe going for one of our nighttime tours around town that we used to do all the time before she had her little man. And the night was really nice. It was a nice perfect temperature, and I started thinking, you know what, I'm never gonna sleep. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Her boyfriend's there to take care of the baby. Why not just see if she wants to go out? So I called her up. Excuse me, sorry. And sure enough, she was like, yeah, sure, I'll come out with you. So we were going around town, and we were just seeing what's going on, because sometimes when the major city near us has a festival of some sort, they end up flocking back toward us, and sometimes shenanigans happen. Well, fortunately, there wasn't any shenanigans. However, we were driving along, and as we do, we were just laughing and having a good time. And she says to me, there's a deer on the road. And I was just like, where do you see a deer? And sure enough, it's right beside us. So I was just like, okay. And so we slowed down, and I put on my brights, and I stopped the car. And normally you can't stop the car in this particular area due to traffic, but at night it becomes pretty, like, dead. Like, there's nobody around. So, and I just realized that I was doing that wrong. So, excuse me, sorry. I stop, we get the deer fully safely across the road, and then we go about our night. And we had a quick stop at Tim Hortons because I wanted something sweet to eat right there and then, and I also wanted something sweet to eat looking forward to in the morning. So we picked up some goodies and went on our way. As we were traveling around town a little bit longer, because neither one of us are ready to come home, we see something in the middle of the road on one of our main roads. Turns out it was a little fox chasing a mole. Not a common thing to really see in town, but nonetheless, there it was. Oh, I need the today headers. So we made sure the little guy was across the road. That's fine. And then, sometimes I wonder why I do the things I do. As many of you know, I used to do animal rescue work, and then I went into straight cat rescue. Well, we were coming back and I decided, it's getting pretty late. Your baby's gonna be waking up soon for his feeding. So, and I mean, he's formula and breast, so I mean, she didn't need to be there. There was enough breast milk there and the daddy could have handled it, no problem. Well, we're coming up to the turn to where I normally would turn to take her home, but instead this time for some reason I was being pulled to go over to the next turn. And sure enough, as we're coming up on the hill, we see a skunk in the distance. And I could see it wandering on the road, and I didn't really think much of it other than let's give it space, let's let it cross the road. And then my sister says, "Oh my God, I think there's something on its head." And sure enough, its head is stuck in a container. And instantly I thought, oh my God, what are we gonna do? So we drove up closer. I put the car in park, and without thinking, I said, we have to help it. So I got out of the car and I went right up to the skunk, and it was like a fairly good sized skunk. I would say definitely maybe an adult female. And I thought, okay, well, I'll pull off the lid off its head. It turned out to be like a salad jar on its head. If anybody knows the company, it's a Renee's dressing salad, so you can kind of picture the container. Anyway, I thought it'd be an easy, just pull off, no worries, just bing bang boom, done. Well, boy, was I wrong. The poor little thing did come waddling up to me, and sure enough, I try to give a yank to see if I can get the salad dressing lid off, container off its head, and no, it didn't. So I turned back and I looked into the headlights because that's all I could see. And I said to my sister Kelly, I said, I cannot get this off. I said, can you help? So she came out and she tried getting the lid off of the skunk's head too, and just nothing, no amount of pressure. So when she went and she gave it a little tug, the skunk actually lifted off the ground and fell back to the ground, still with the container attached to its head. And I said, this isn't gonna work. I'm gonna go get a blanket. The skunk still hadn't indicated it was gonna spray, nothing. So I went to the trunk of the car, got a blanket. That's great. We were able to catch the skunk. My sister was able to walk it toward us and went into the headlights of the car, so that way if any other cars were coming, they would see us. And a few cars did come by and leave. And like I said, at that hour, it's like a ghost town here. Somewhat eerie. Anyway, I got the blanket finally wrapped around the skunk, and my sister gives a pull. Nothing. And I was like, oh my God, this skunk's gonna suffocate. We can't cut it off because we don't have the tools on us. There was no one in the area to call, and the people we could have called, we believe they would have never shown up, or perhaps just put down the creature. So we took it upon ourselves. We tried again. This time I really wrapped the skunk up with the blanket and I held onto its little body, and she did a pull and twist, and I pulled the skunk's body back, and bam, the lid comes off. It's perfect. It's wonderful. The skunk's free. Victory. We did it. We saved this little skunk's life. It takes off. The only thing is, though, it sprayed the blanket that I was holding, and I had it wrapped around its little tuchus. There was a little opening, so that's how I knew. I was like, oh my god, it sprayed. And oh, I don't even have to tell you, I panicked. Like, you ever do something and you look back and, oh, we used a whole sheet. You ever look back on something that you did and said, I should have, and now you know for the next time? Well, oh, Lord help me. I started running to the car, and a woman pulled up to see if we were okay, which was really kind of her, because other drivers really didn't care when they did finally, we had a driver finally approach us. They didn't care. They just drove on by and tried not to get too close to what we were doing. She came up, and bless her heart, she was so kind, and I said, we just saved a skunk's life. It's okay, but he sprayed and we got to get out of here. And she was like, oh god, yes, it sprayed. Pretty horribly, I might add. And, well, I forgot as I was running to the car that I am now in possession of the blanket that was wrapped around the skunk to basically keep the smell in if the skunk did spray, which the skunk did. And I threw it in the back seat of my boyfriend's brand new car, and we were driving and gagging, and I'm gonna tell you the straight honest truth, I started vomiting. Like, it was so bad. So my sister says to me, did you throw the blanket that it sprayed in the car? And I was like, oh my god, get it out of here. And I tried to pull into a gas station so we could basically get rid of it, and she just chucked it out the window. It was gone. And I couldn't laugh at the situation because I was trying to drive and get as far away from the smell as we could. Kind of can't get away from the smell when you have it all over your back seat. I'm sorry, I'm planning a little crooked here. So, with all that happening, somehow we managed to get to a gas station on the opposite end of town, which we figured was far enough away from where the skunk had originally sprayed, and far enough away from the stinky blanket that we had to dispose of. And when we got to the gas station, I literally jumped out of the car, and I was so sick. I even ripped my shirt off. I had another undershirt underneath, thank God. And I called my boyfriend, and he was sleeping, and I was like, you have to wake up. Like, you don't understand. You have to wake up. You need to meet me outside with clothes so I can go and change out of these clothes and throw my other clothes into the wash at my mom's house because his apartment doesn't have. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna wipe that out. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm telling him that he has to meet me. I have to go to my mom's. I have to do the laundry. It's now 4 o'clock in the morning. My sister had to call her boyfriend and request clothing from him. For some reason, that's kind of sticky, like the glue was letting go off of it, perhaps. So they meet us outside. I did a quick stop at my boyfriend's house, got some clothes that I had left there, went to my sister's boyfriend's house, got clothes for her, and then we headed toward my mom's house. And as we were going towards my mom's house, still very much gagging and trying not to add the stink to the new clothes that we had, because we knew we had to clean this car some way, somehow. Well, we see some bunnies, and thankfully we didn't hit it. So we had to, be cautious. We get into my mom's house. It's late. You don't want to enter someone's house that's not expecting you that late. And as quietly as we did, we were, oh, sorry, I hit the camera again. We were quiet, but my mom did hear us because she's like a ninja. Anyway, we got in, we were stripping down, getting out of those clothes, and she's like, why did you bring that smell with you? Like, why? Kind of felt bad, but Mom, we love you. Anyway, we were able to get our clothes smelling good because of our fast actions. We could not get the smell out of the car, and it's now day 3 of having the smell inside the car, and we've tried pretty much everything that they say to do on the internet, and we have one more option ahead of us to try after today's odor removal. Here's hoping it works, because I can't tell you how bad I feel knowing that the beautiful new car my boyfriend got now smells like skunk, and it is because of me saving a skunk. I mean, he's not mad or anything. He was a little frustrated because I woke him up. That's about it. Here I am just trying to see what else I can make use of. I'll need this for Thursday. So, always but first coffee on Mondays. So, the skunk survived. Our clothes don't stink. The smell is burned into my memories. Unfortunately, I had to take the car to get an oil change with my boyfriend, and yeah, sure enough, yeah, it was bad. It's still bad. I really, really hope that we're able to get the smell out. It's good for a laugh. That's to Mark writing pen pal letters, and ironically in the background, I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it, there are seagulls. And I don't think I'm going to use these this week, but here's my spread for the week of July 15th to July 21st. I'm going to try and make sure that's into frame for you. So I will still save a skunk if I have to. I now have better thoughts and processing on how I'll do that. Yeah, it's been a week. Gallbladder, getting sprayed by a skunk, trying to clean a car that's not mine because I feel so guilty. Oh, I can't tell you. I just can't tell you. I really hope that I will be able to report soon that we were able to get the smell out of the car. Anyway, I thought I'd tell you a little story, seeing how my week was eventful. I hope that you like this layout here. The kit, once again, is from Coffee Brain Plants. I will link her shop below, as well as my discount code where you can save 15% off on the website only. And I just want to wish you all a great week and say happy planning. Goodbye.